structure, for example, around homework. So you cut off the electronics, except insofar as they're specifically needed for doing the assignment, because a lot of kids have to do homework on their computers, and take a door open approach to it. You don't go into your room and shut the door while you're supposed to be doing homework. I want to have you where I can see what you're doing, so that if you're just messing around, that becomes obvious. And the other thing, though, is that you're not, in addition to rules thing, just showing interest in what the kid is doing, talking with them about what is this new social studies project you're working on? What are you working on in math? You said you had a hard time on the last test. What is it? What was it covering? And do we need to maybe put some extra time in together to do that? To be able to encourage what they're doing. Now, back to one thing, though, that's about homework that I think is important to keep in mind about medication is many kids are taking what's supposed to be so-called all-day medicines for ADHD. And the reality is, for some people, these medicines that you take at 7 o'clock in the morning really do last at least through the school day, and maybe for an hour or two afterwards. But the reality is that there are many kids where they don't even make it through the school day. And so a lot of kids who need medicine to help them work effectively in school also need a booster dose of medicine to be able to help late afternoon. And there it's a balancing act, because you want to be sure you're not interfering with their appetite for dinner or keeping them up half the night. But the fact is, there are a lot of individual variations on this. And so if you're expecting a kid who really needs the help of medication to be able to focus very much, to do homework at a time when the medication is worn off, it's not going to work out very well. Another thing that I think is important is, a lot of times as parents, we know the importance of getting the homework done, and we get on our kids about it. And the kids will be, complaining about what the teacher said, or what seems unreasonable about it. And I think it's important not to try to polarize discussion with kids about that sort of thing, to be willing to empathize with the kid. It does look like that's an awfully long assignment, or it's hard to have 3 tests to study for the same night. So that it doesn't become a matter of just, I am the taskmaster and I just want to make you do this. I don't want to hear any complaints about this. Teachers are sometimes unreasonable, just as parents are sometimes unreasonable, and kids are sometimes unreasonable. And it's important to allow for that. And, keep in mind what it was like when you were a kid having to do homework and were suffering with more work than you felt you could easily manage, and particularly for those kids who have learning disorders, where reading is particularly tough for them, or they work hard to learn multiplication tables but can't get them retrievable in their heads. Or a kid who might be able to talk a story to you very well, but when it comes to sitting down and writing it, it's a whole different ballgame. So I think empathy for the kid's struggles with work, and trying to the usual thing about you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, works on this too, to encourage, give good recognition for the things that the kid is doing right, and not just hassle them about the things that they're not doing well. But also the thing is acting interested in it and being interested in it, because sometimes getting the student to tell you about what they're learning and stuff, you might want to say, that is interesting. I didn't know about that. And, maybe get more information together.